Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I am Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and today we are doing the final mock draft for the Minnesota Vikings in the 2024 NFL offseason. We've got a doozy one for you here with a major trade that we think the Vikings benefits both teams involved, so we can't wait to break that down for you. But before we do that, the NBA and NHL playoffs are right around the corner, and if you're wanting to put a couple bucks down and also get a little bit of help doing it, be sure to click the link down below and take full advantage of the promotion that BetUS is putting on for all of its first-time players. You'll get a 125% match for your first 3 deposits. It is an amazing deal, and with the playoffs coming up, I think that it's a phenomenal time to maybe take a look at that. So click the link down below to take full advantage. While you're at it, be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the Tracy Take to get notified whenever we create new content. We're about 140 away or so from 3,000 subscribers, and we'd love to hit that before the NFL draft. So any help is greatly appreciated. So as I said, we had a trade go on in our mock draft here with the Atlanta Falcons. Minnesota moved up. They traded the 11th pick and the 23rd pick for the 8th pick, the 43rd pick, and also then the 79th pick from Atlanta. Points worked out if that's what it would actually be, if Atlanta would want to give up 3 first-round picks. There's not 3 first-round picks, 3 picks overall in this draft, but to move up into the first and from 43 to 23 if they'd want to do that. Honestly, then with Minnesota, they essentially then, with the trade that they made with Houston, they really they just gave up a second-round pick for next year. That's pretty much all it is, because then they're getting that second-round pick back just 1 pick later, and then they're picking up a third. So really filling out that day 2 picks, which they didn't have any at this point.
And the reason kind of why we think Minnesota would make this trade if J.J. McCarthy falls all the way down to 8 is I think Chicago is likely to trade back if given the right opportunity. Atlanta, in this scenario, obviously likely to trade back if given the opportunity. And I think New York, those 3 teams right there. So you look at who – I know Minnesota was just at 11, but you look Denver, Las Vegas, and New Orleans are all right there. Those are 3 teams that could potentially trade up and be looking for a quarterback to develop. And so the Vikings, they had the most amount of draft capital. We made the points work on the trade. Maybe they give up like a future first instead of the 23rd pick. But I think part of what was enticing was the fact that the Falcons get 2 first-round picks this year.
It seems like kind of like a match made in heaven. Like the Falcons, we had been projecting them to take a cornerback at 43 overall, so they get to move up in the low 20s, and they ended up taking Nate Wiggins. For Minnesota, they missed out on the first 3 quarterbacks. I just have a feeling that Minnesota's not going to be able to make a trade with any of those teams. Chicago and Washington definitely no, and then New England most likely
not.
I'm saying like 97% sure that they're going to be taking whichever quarterback's left. So you go up, you go get J.J. McCarthy. A lot of people are going to say this is too high. I think a lot of people would agree with you. But the way the NFL draft works and also the way the NFL works is you need a quarterback. And I think J.J. McCarthy is, during his college time, he was under Jim Harbaugh, who was a coach in the NFL. We've now seen how great of a coach Kevin O'Connell can be, and he has a quarterback background as well. And we saw the success that he had with Kirk Cousins. I really think that this would actually be a great situation for him to go into and learn from Kevin O'Connell. Even if they want to start Sam Darnold for half the game, or if it's going to be something similar like with Cam Newton and Mac Jones, if it's like, if this guy's already better, like, shoot, let's just throw him in now and figure it out, then that could be an absolute option here as well. But I think that they're going to be getting quarterback here. Another potential option is they go for Bo Nix, and they stay at 11 and go with Bo Nix or J.J. McCarthy, see if they fall to them and just not worry about it. That is also a potential scenario as well. But I think J.J. McCarthy for me is the clear number 4 quarterback, and I think this is a good trade to work out for all parties involved.
Yeah, and like him as a prospect, I have mixed feelings about it because he does have desirable traits, obviously. But then I think you go look, he struggles to throw the ball deep outside the numbers. And when he really is getting velocity on the ball, he's putting his whole body into it, and he has a really wide base. And mechanically, that's just harder in the NFL because the pockets are tighter. And so like there's just a few things like that are concerning. But you look, I think he is the youngest quarterback in this class, and he has a lot of, I think, really nice tools to work with. So I like this pick. I think it's a good fit. You have your receivers, you have your left tackle there already. So going and getting J.J. McCarthy here, I think, is a good fit. But
yeah, you like this pick, but I will say the next pick you love. You love
Oh
this
yeah.
idea. Yeah, because we were
So
talking about the soft line.
this pick was made before Tavondre Sweat got a DWI. Maybe they're able to get him at 79 now, and if he falls. But I think if you look at what Brian Flores has done in the past, he's wanted a big nose tackle and he's wanted speedy edge rushers. And I think that they have kind of evolved to fit that system a little bit this offseason. You look at Daniil Hunter going away, and then who are the edge rushers that they brought in?
Andrew Van Ginkel, and then they also had Jonathan Grenard as well.
Jonathan Grenard, both of which are true outside linebacker types. And so with that, you're going to be a little bit smaller on the edge. But how you make up for that is you get a big, meaty nose tackle in the middle, insert Tavondre Sweat. And I think defensively, he's a great fit. He does have some pass rushing prowess. Granted, he's 360 pounds, so he can only provide so much. But he's really not going to be there for that. I think he's just a really tough person to move around in the middle. And I think Brian Flores would love it because he's going to get double teamed, and then that leaves everybody else with one-on-one matchups if you're only sending 4. And so
oops, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just really like this fit. If you look at what they've done, they have kind of brought in personnel to run a 3-4 style defense.
Well, and also, too, I'd have to double check what the final number was, but for the entire season, Minnesota was the defense that blitzed the most and at an over 50% clip. And to your point, though, too, is if they can go and get even just this defense, if they have a 3-4, this defensive line right here with Tavondre Sweat, and then you have Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel on the outside as well. To your point, there's already you get those two speedy edge rushers, and then just an absolute behemoth of a man that it's going to be tough to have like for any center or guard to try to handle on one-on-one situation just because he's big. So and he's quick-footed enough to where maybe he's not every down. You'll obviously have to interchange him, but I think he could be on more down situations than
60% of the snaps most likely, because he probably won't play on third down. But again, especially in specific third down scenarios, you'll have your pass rushing set that you throw on the field. And he's obviously will not be involved in that. But I just really like the fit. I think Brian Flores would love a guy with his talent. Let's move on now.
I was going to make a dumb joke, but it's like, and then when they're on the 1 yard line, they can try and do their best, the fridge impersonation, bring out the freezer, because they're up in Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, they're in a dome though. So,
you get what I'm saying.
I know. But next up, we're going to go with Cooper Beebe, the interior offensive lineman from Kansas State. They have 2 good tackles, and just adding some depth along the interior of that offensive line, I think would be good. I believe the left guard spot, I could be wrong, is the one that we were trying to address where Cooper Beebe plays. But again, he's going to come in. This is where you draft your guards in the draft, that 3rd and 4th round. And I think he's just a really, really solid player at this spot.
Yeah, I think with whoever is at quarterback, you're going to need to provide some better protection. But also then, too, on top of that, they were one of the worst running teams in the league last year. They have moved on from Alexander Madison and Dalvin Cook. Obviously, they brought in Aaron Jones. So Aaron Jones is going to bring more versatility, even with his pass catching out of the backfield, and just have veteran presence for pass blocking schemes. But in general, though, it's like to have a good rushing offense, you need to have a good rushing offense.
Yeah.
So
Blake Brandel, a 6th-round pick from 2020, is currently the starting left guard.
Gotcha.
So, just I think upgrading that spot, especially after you draft a young quarterback, I think is going to be pretty crucial here. So, let's move on to their day 3 picks here. They have a good bit of day 3 picks. So, Austin Booker, the edge rusher out of Kansas, not Kansas State. He also fits that outside linebacker mold. He's super quick. Braylon Allen, the thumping running back from Wisconsin. Nehemiah Pritchett, a good cornerback there. And then TJ Hawkinson tore his ACL at the end of last year. Going and getting Jared Wiley to come in, and maybe not, you're not going to replace TJ Hawkinson in the 5th round, but getting another guy at that position that could come in and take some snaps while TJ Hawkinson rehabs and gets ready to come back on the field, I think is going to be pretty crucial. Yeah. And this tight end class, while outside of Brock Bowers is not top heavy. They do have some intriguing options here on day 3. So
yeah. And so and then wrap it up here then with JD Bertrand, Jordan Whittington, and then Evan Williams as well. I think these 3 picks, I think it's going to be very unique on how teams manage the draft as well, just with the new special team rules and the kickoff rules that's going on. So getting a linebacker and then a receiver, not a potential return man, but maybe just getting some good guys that could be quick, and then also on the bigger side as well for either tackling or even a blocking scheme. So in general, I think we really try to focus on just an overall diverse set, but probably with an emphasis a little bit more on the defensive side after you go and get that quarterback. I think the trade, if Minnesota's able to work out this trade, I know points-wise, maybe the Falcons wouldn't want to give up their 3rd-round pick. They do have 2 third-round picks. That's why I thought it'd be another good option as well. And then they'll gladly give up the 2nd-round pick to move up into the 1st pick. And so, but we'll have to go and see. Definitely very curious on what Minnesota does now that they moved up 23. So I just don't feel like you make that pick or make that move without the intention of trying to move up on draft day.
No, I agree, and that's like that for me. Like this is probably a bad reference, but you don't put ammo in the chamber unless you're gonna shoot it, and it's like they have stockpiled a bunch of ammo to move up in the top 10 to like go and get their guy. And the reports have been that the guy that they're trying to target is JJ McCarthy. So I highly doubt they'll be able to crack that top 10, but we'll see what happens. And but I really like this draft for the Vikings. I think they're trying to do a lot of good things up there, and they got some really good players. So let's go ahead and wrap up this mock draft here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of this Minnesota Vikings 7-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you do differently? And on that, we'll see you guys next time.